Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing another layout in my series for our Disneyland trip to you today, and just going to review a couple of pages that I did while you've been watching my other layouts from our Hawaii trip. So let's see what's on my desktop and get started. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so the last time that we were together working on the Disneyland pages, we were working on this layout. This is the right side of the layout from The Rise of the Resistance. And after we were on this ride, we wandered into Frontierland and to the Haunted Mansion, which is always a fun place to go, but especially at Christmas time when they have it dressed up for the Nightmare Before Christmas, which is super fun. And I just adapted a layout here from something else that I had seen and created a quick layout using the spider web punch, which came out, I don't know, a year or two ago. I can't remember exactly now. Maybe it was last October. Everything is kind of blending together in my brain at the moment. But at any rate, this is using the Happy Hauntings collection, which I know for sure came out last fall. And I think the spiderweb came out with it. And I just did 2 punches in the center of a 5.5 inch piece, and it's 2 inches wide. Let me take that back. It's 2.25 inches wide. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different papers that are 2.25 inches wide, and then just 2 webs punched on either side of that in the center of the strip. And then this final punch over here, I believe, is roughly 1.5, maybe 1 3/8 inches wide. And I only did the punches on one side of that one to add the extra width of the page. These pictures up here are matted. You could probably just do a 6 by 12 inch piece of paper and then center your 3 photographs on there, trimmed appropriately, of course, and then the matching mats on this side for those photos as well. The circles were made using the custom cutting system, and I used a red blade and a blue blade to get this wider border for these circles. And I believe this was using the inside of the big circle, but I'm sorry, I don't remember for sure. So you'll need to kind of experiment with that. This is an embellishment that comes with the Happy Hauntings, and this is a laser border that comes with the Happy Hauntings. And then the rest of these cute little embellishments were part of the sticker pack. So just some fun. And then continuing on with the ride, these are some pictures that we took on the ride. And so I just used the remainder of my paper to create a few more matching spider webs, just like on the other page. I built this border just like on the other page. And then I put a 1/4 inch of in this paper collection is a paper that looks like gold glitter. It is not a glitter paper, but it's a photo of glitter paper, if that makes sense. And so I did a 1/4 inch strip of that down here, and I've got a 1/4 inch strip of that woven through this laser die cut of the fence that comes in the laser border pack for the Happy Hauntings collection. And then these are just pieces of punched spider web that I added to that border. And then the rest is stickers, and this is a die cut that comes with the laser borders embellishments. Okay, so getting started with today's layouts, we are traveling to the 100 Acre Wood, which is going to be super fun. I always like to visit Winnie the Pooh. He's a favorite, and a favorite of my kids too. So we have some pictures of what used to be what I remember as the Country Bear Jamboree. If you've been to Disneyland years ago, or even as a child, you may have remembered, or you may remember the Country Bear Jamboree. They took that whole auditorium area and created a ride now. So that is, I can't remember what they call it, but it's a Winnie the Pooh ride, and you ride in these bumblebee cars through a ride that is sort of similar to like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs ride in Fantasyland, but it's cute and brightly colored, as you'll see in the layout we're going to do next time. But anyway, these are the photos we're going to do today. And I've chosen some photos that are from an older, or some papers that are from an older collection. This is from Deep in the Woods. And so if you have Deep in the Woods, that's where these papers come from. I just have this sheet that is of trees, and the back is a nice wood grain. And I have this sheet, which is kind of some moss on maybe a cement type texture, and then these colorful leaves on the back. So we're going to use those two pieces of paper. Then I have a few accent pieces that are more in the yellow and brown that you might expect from Winnie the Pooh. This one's actually from our Sparks of Magic collection. And these papers are from, oh boy, I'm really aging myself here. But these papers are mats that come from an older collection of Winnie the Pooh from Old CM. So if you remember, Old CM had the licensing to be able to do some Disney things. And one of the things that they printed was a pack that was concentrated on Winnie the Pooh. And so that's what these mats are from, and we're going to use them today because I've hung on to them for a very long time and I want to use them. So we're going to use that and that as accent papers. And then I have also, for some fun, I have these laser borders that also came in the Deep in the Woods collection that I think we're going to probably use as well. We'll see how this comes together. All right, so I was thinking that I would like to put, of course my idea in my head just sort of flew out the window for a minute, so let me gather my thoughts for a sec here. I'm just going to set those to the side and set that piece to the side here. Set these over here to the side as well. All right, so using these two papers, I'm thinking that I want just kind of an outline of this. I think I want just an outline of this. I know what I'm going to use. Give me a half a second. All right, so sometimes I have to be really looking at something before it comes to me what I want to do with it. And this is a great example of that. So if you've been around CM for very long, then you are familiar with the jumbo patterns that old CM had that went with our custom cutting system. And I realized that this would be a little bit more difficult for those who do not have the jumbo cutting patterns to replicate. But if you have these, then follow my lead and you'll be able to recreate this layout. And if not, then hopefully you can use your imagination and come up with a good way to implement this. I have not used these as much as I thought I might use them, but I do love them when an idea strikes me, and so that's what we're going to go with today. So I am centering this one, and I don't even remember what this one is called, but it's basically a square where they've inverted each of the corners. And so I'm going to cut this around the center using my red blade, and I'll show you what we're going to do with it. So just going around the center here. Sometimes the curves are a little bit trickier to get your blade to go smoothly because your hand's pushing in one direction and the blade's trying to go in another direction. So bear with me here. All right. So now we have this really cool outline. What I want to do is have this be like a photo that we're looking through, kind of looking into the forest. I like that. I think that's cool. And actually, I think what I might do is go ahead and pull another one of those same papers to go ahead and make the other side match. Hold on, I have to find the pack it came from. Yeah, okay, so this is from the designer paper pack. So give me just a second, I'm going to grab the other one really quickly. All right, so we're going to cut the other one to match as well. So I'm just centering this on here the best I can so that it's level, or so that the amount on the outside is the same all the way around. This is not what I initially thought I was going to be doing with this particular layout, so bear with me. We're going to be using our imaginations together. It's so funny when you get inspired about something. All right. So again, this doesn't have the name of it on it anywhere. So if you remember what this one was called, if you would put it in the comments, that would be awesome. Then everyone will know what they're looking for should they want to try to find one of those. All right, so now we've got our basic layout here. And I was thinking that maybe we could either put that going across, or we could have it go across the very bottom. I would love to be able to trim that so that it kind of is inverted. I wonder how I might be able to do that. If I cut it right through here, I might be able to kind of rearrange that just a little. Let's try that, just so that we don't have one side that looks exactly like the other side. So if we scoot this one over, we can add this on and kind of layer it a little. Or maybe even scoot that a little bit farther over and layer that like so. All right. Until I'm sure, I'm just going to sort of leave it like that, but I think that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, and let's take a look at our photos and just check it out and see what needs to be trimmed. So we can trim that one just a little. We could trim that one just a little. Definitely want that one of everybody in the family. That one can be trimmed down. That one maybe not so much. That one of my cute little girl. She's my youngest. She's not so little anymore. Okay. Grabbing my trimmer. Somebody mentioned in comments the other day that they thought you weren't supposed to use your 12-inch trimmer for photographs. And I do remember somewhere someone saying that or reading that somewhere, but I really have never used anything but my 12-inch trimmer, even for photographs. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's all dependent upon what tool you're most comfortable with. If you are most comfortable with the guillotine trimmer for cutting your photos, then use your guillotine trimmer. If you're most comfortable using this trimmer, then use this trimmer. It's completely up to you. So I'm just trimming these up, these that can be a little bit smaller, and making them into 3 1/4 inch square, or 3 3/4 inch squares, so that I can mat them with a 4-inch piece of paper. Let's see how I can do this one. Well, actually, this one will go into a 4-inch also. But it might be nice to keep it at actual 4-inch. So keeping that as a 4-inch rather than a 3 3/4 inch piece. This one I'm going to trim up and make just a little bit smaller so I can use a 4x6. Sorry about this, taking time to trim my photos. Usually I try to do that ahead of time so that you don't see this part. But once in a while I feel like it's okay. I am not one, as you can tell, I'm not one to agonize over what to trim and what not to trim. I just sort of look at my photo, look at what the focus is, what my main focus is, and then look at the other edges to see if I can make them just a hair smaller without taking too much away. Now, let's see, this one I could trim and not worry about. This other one of my kids, if I trim on either side, I'm going to trim off part of one of my children, which I'm not sure I really want to do. So we may just have to either not mat that or mat it or make the mat a little bit bigger. All right, so let's see. Let's see what size this paper is. 4 inches. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to make this into 2 4-inch squares. I apologize if this feels really unorganized to you, and I could see why it might bother you that it is unorganized. But this is a truer representation of scrapbooking. So hopefully you'll forgive me this one time for not, look at that, that fits perfect. And that's that full-size photo. I didn't need to trim down those other ones. Doggone it. Oh well. All right. Let's see. Should we do the honey? Let's put this one on this side. My cute family. Oh, this one needs to be over here because it is heading onto the ride, so it's going to be one of the last ones. Most of these pictures were taken while we were waiting for the ride. So let's see here. Put that up there. This one over on this side. Well, Matt, Haley should be cute. This is looking at the waiting area for Splash Mountain, which is just across from this area. And come on. Maybe we'll put that up there just a little. So you almost can't tell that I used a decorative trimmer around the outer edge because of the fact that we're covering it all up. But in this instance, like many others, I remind myself that this is about the photos, not about the background. So if you are a person who really likes to make your pages beautiful and have it be more about the background, then you may not like this style of scrapbooking, because I generally don't really worry too much about what I'm covering up in the back. And I love this picture, this little bit that I cut off of another one, because of these carrots, that they had live ferns growing out of the middle of these carrots that were in the ground, and I just thought it was super cute. So I feel like I ought to mat that and have that be a part of our layout as well. I know that may seem silly, but one of the reasons we all love Disney so much is because of their attention to details like that, right? So let's see. I'm going to make this 2.5 inches, and then we should be good. And then I just have to figure out where to sneak it in there. Okay, I think I'm ready to adhere all of these goodies. So let's go ahead and get them all glued down, and then we'll look at embellishing. Okay, as I assemble this second page for you, let me just give you some clues as to how to get something like this on straight, because you can see it's kind of floppy and it's kind of difficult. So what I usually do is I line up this center lower corner so that my edges are even with the jeeping here and with the bottom of my page. And then once I get that on straight, I can usually lift up the rest of it and lay it down, and it just makes it super easy to smooth out and make it look like it was there the whole time. So I know that's a little bit tricky, but it can be done with a little bit of practice. Okay, and I'm going to use my scissors here and just sort of snip off part of this so that I don't have to snip it off later. And I'm gonna go ahead and line that edge up. And using this log at the base here, it blends into the trees quite a lot, but I think you'll find that because we're covering up a lot of it anyway, that it actually works out okay to have this way. And rather than using an X-Acto knife or something else, I'm just going to use my precision point scissors and just come in here and trim that even with the page. So we are good to go there. Isn't that funny how it could have extended quite a bit longer, probably maybe even another half of the page if I'd wanted it to. Kind of funny. But definitely a cool feature of a border if you're trying to make it longer. All right. I think I'm going to stick those carrots just kind of right in there. That will allow me to create a space in here where I can journal on this page. See how it all more or less gets covered up anyway. Maybe what we ought to do is move this guy up just a little bit. Move Haley up just a little, and then we can move this guy up or over a tiny bit and just make some room. I'm thinking title in this corner up here, embellishment, embellishment, and I think that's how it's going to go. So we won't really need anything to go right in there, but that's okay. That'll work. Just like that. This one I am gonna try to move slightly though. There we go. All right. Now I have, along with that older packet of paper that we got from CM, I have these cute stickers. So I thought they would be cute to add, and I actually was also thinking that it would be fun to add some honeybees from my honeybee punch, but we might actually do that on our next page, so I'm not going to worry about it so much on this one. We are going to add Eeyore and Pooh Bear giving each other hugs. There is a little cutout, pop out area right there that did not pop out. There it is. That'll work. Just stick them kind of off to the side right there. And we'll add Pooh Bear and Piglet hanging out down here on the limb. Kind of in the shade of the trees. Okay, and I think that's all I'm going to do, because up here we'll put the title, and I may add a couple of little honeybees in there, or maybe around, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to use that honeybee punch that we got from Croptoberfest, although it might be a little bit too big. I don't know, we'll see. But for now, this is the way this layout's going to stay until I get that title done, and maybe create some bees on my cricket or something like that. What do you think? I think it's, I am a little sad that I covered up so much of the decorative edge that went all the way around, but I like the way that it frames it and kind of lets it feel like it's, you know, still a frame, since you can see some of the black. At any rate, on to the photos from the ride that'll go on the next layout. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope this has been inspiring and given you some good ideas to use in your albums. And until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great day.